Hey, Antonio, I'm a big fan of the channel. You definitely helped encourage me to get into the union. Shouts out to you, my friend. Good to see you,
bro.
Yeah. I was wondering if you had any advice with new apprentice doing shitty jobs, cleaning chasing the first job. Oh, take it away, Antonio. Help your boy.
Hey, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. This is a part of the process. Everybody has to do shit work, bro. It's not easy. And this is the one thing I have to tell you. You just got to put one foot in front of the other, bro, and just get through it, because these are the things that are going to be difficult now. But then you're going to look back and say, you know what? I got through that. There have been times where I've had to do things that I absolutely hated, bro. Carrying 100-pound doors up 11 flights of stairs, you know,
Sheesh.
40 or 50 of these doors, cleaning out like elevator pits where like everything is just dumped in there because no one really cared. But the one thing I did do though is make sure that everybody knew that there was a tough task and no one else would do it. I would do it, bro. Whatever it took, I would do it to separate myself from everybody else, because everybody else is going to be cool with like the framing and the fun jobs where like you're hanging doors, but not everybody will get in the gutter, man. There was one summer where I was working under a school and it was 105 degrees in Salem, and we were doing a structural remodel, and we weren't allowed to use hand tools under the school because school was actually still in session. So I had to dig ditches with a little pickaxe for 8 hours, bro.
With a wait, hold on.
With the tiny, like a little tiny pickaxe, bro, and a shovel. And the whole thing I'm thinking is, bro, this is hard, but I've been through worse, bro. I've been through worse, and this is not gonna last forever. And then once you get that in your mindset, you realize, okay, you know what? That just forms more grit. That makes you harder. What it does is like solidifies you as a person. Going through hard things makes you more like indestructible. So when you've gone through that, now you say, listen, now when I'm, patching this concrete or pouring this concrete, this is nothing compared to what I did before. All these things make you a hardened person and make you a stronger person. So I say, you know what? You got it. All you got to do is just get through it. And then once you're done, then you're a better person. And as a first-time apprentice, bro, you're gonna have to eat shit. I remember when I first started, bro, I had a lot of foremen that used to just look at me and just shake their head all the time. And they'd never explain to me what I was doing wrong.
Oh, man.
Bro, and I would just be so frustrated because, like, I know that I'm fucking up. I know that I'm making mistakes, but I don't know how to fix it. And people are so frustrated with me, they won't say anything. So I used to come home for like 2 hours a day and just sit in my room. And my wife and the kids just knew, like, just give me a second. I don't want to take anything on you guys. It's not fair. So I'm just going to go and just sit back and just woosah and then come out. But guess what? That hardened me. So then when I had other tasks later on in my career, it was that much easier because I realized what it was like to have a tough task. And that builds grit, bro. And that grit is what's going to propel you later on. If every time you have a hard task or you have things that you don't want to do and you constantly keep quitting, you're never going to build that immune system to tough things to get past when you have a tough task moving forward. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I had motivational music queued up through that entire monologue. I just that put a lot of fire in me. I'm about to go build another garage. I have one, but I'm building another garage after this stream, man.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Okay, so this is a little backstory. I've been meaning to talk about this a little more on my channel, but realistically, I've been a coward because I kind of like my life and I kind of like the cushion I have right now, so I don't really speak about me going to prison that often. But I think it's very, very important for me to speak on this because I want to show light on people who have, reformed their life and, contribute to society. And it's not just, people being pieces of shit and then never reforming. So I'm going to speak about this a little bit more. When I was in prison, I used to constantly pick the toughest jobs all the time because I knew that I needed grit for when I got out of prison, because I knew that the mistakes I made at 18, I put my life in hard mode. I'm no longer playing regular life. I'm playing Dark Souls life, where like everything is difficult, nothing's going to be easy anymore, and nothing's going to be given to me. So every single day I ran 5 miles, every task we had, like I was at a forest camp and we had to cut down trees. So they'd say, hey, I want everybody to cut down, 10 feet. What would I cut down? 60. Because I wanted to make sure that I want to go above and beyond, because what had caused me to go to prison was a lapse in my morality, a lapse in my judgment. So I wanted to fortify that so strong and make that so solidified that if anything was ever to come against me again, I wouldn't fold the way I did back when I was a young man. So when it came to like wildland forest fighting, when I was digging trails, everybody would fall behind me, and I would pretty much do the whole entire trail in front of them by myself. And my boss would be like, hey, leave some for them. I'm like, bro, the task I have right now going on has nothing to do with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mindset is I want to bust this out myself. So everybody just fall in line, you know what I'm saying? And take the day off, because I'm going to do this because I know that I'm doing this for a higher purpose. So when I got into the trades, even though there were some tough things like with that foreman, but I had never done anything as hard as planting 500 trees in a day, cutting down, huge swaths of the forest, falling over logs with a 44 bar chainsaw. You know what I'm saying? I had never experienced anything that difficult. So then now life is a lot easier, even though I have felonies and even though I made myself, a little more difficult. It wasn't as difficult as that. And I think that's something I think about too, is, when you do tough things, it makes normal things become so much easier.
Man, boy, we got to hit some of these comments, man. Dan Williams says, slinging fat stacks of hope. Dre says, Antonio has an anime level character arcs.
Bro. I was on that Saitama shit, bro. I'm telling you, man.
Naren, he says, yeah, I get that, and I totally understand what you're saying. But what really made me quit that first job was I got into the union because I wanted to learn carpentry skills, but I wasn't learning shit related to carpentry. I actually, you go ahead.
The thing is, carpentry encompasses all of that. There is no one like, hey, I want to learn how to frame, and so if I'm not framing, I'm not being a carpenter. Or, hey, if I'm not doing siding, I'm not a carpenter. Being a carpenter is pretty much being the point guard of the job. You got to be able to do everything, bro. And so if the task is just cleaning up, that's your job. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to pay you less because you're cleaning. So then you got to treat it the same way you would treat any other job. Like, listen, I'm going to give my best effort, and I'm going to kick ass at cleaning right now. Because at some point, you're going to build rapport, or people are going to give you more opportunities. But people aren't just going to send you on a job where, they're risking, materials, time on someone who's a first term if you haven't proven yourself yet. So sometimes just working hard and doing a job correctly is enough to show other people, like, hey, I'm worthy of given more tasks and more responsibilities. But if you run away from the first time someone's giving you a task that you don't necessarily like, then what if I give you a task you don't understand and you're confused? You know what I'm saying? And that happens all the time, even to this day. Like, I'll be given things like a new material, a thing I've never done before, and it gets kind of frustrating. But if you haven't built up that mental fortitude, say, listen, I've gone through tough things before, I can do this. If you start quitting becomes an option. And once that's an option, you can start taking that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me add this too. So if people here aren't familiar with our channel, actually, I'm not going to do the same as plug, but on our channel, I feel like that's so disrespectful. But on our channel, I've kind of been pretty open about my support of the trades for a lot of different reasons. One thing I think that's a trade that people don't really talk about is like IT. It's like one of the few people think like you have to go to school for it. It's like, nah, it's really kind of certs based. Like, going to school helps, especially there's certain positions that you definitely need to go to school for, but it really has to do with a lot of certs. So, excuse me. I had a friend that at the beginning of this year, he was doing Postmates, and I kind of sat him down and I was like, bro, man, you should get into IT, man. Like, you just look at how your life is going. I guarantee you, if you get into this IT thing, man, we can put some money in your pocket. You can change your life. Took my advice, got his first cert, A+. Within like first 2 to 3 weeks, he had a job. Now, it wasn't quite IT. It was like a carrier position with some IT involved, right? Mm-hmm. Which it sucks. Like you spend most of your time driving around being a help, and then but you're working with computers, so they call it IT. And within the first few months of him being there, man, every day I talked to him, he was like, yo, this sucks, bro. Like, not only did it not have anything to do with IT, but everybody on the job site treated him like trash. And I said, look, man, if you're not getting the experience in actual IT that you want, you know what you can do? Get another cert. Make yourself more, what's the word? When you're more marketable as a worker. And he did that, and he went and he got a Security Plus within the first few months of him being in a job. And I didn't tell him how hard the Security Plus was for somebody who's like never done IT at all. He dude had a sociology degree. So he just did it based off the strength of like, okay, this man told me to get an A+, and now I got a job, so I'll just get this security thing. It was really hard. He did it. And even his bosses treated him like crap. But one thing they couldn't ignore was his work ethic. They had never seen anybody new to IT just come in and just get a Security Plus. Then he applied for security clearance, and then he started doing everything. Fast forward a few weeks ago, he just got promoted to a network engineer.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So like this dude, within the course of a year, his life has changed dramatically, but it's only because he kept his head down. And when people started giving him shit, he didn't let it bother him. He's just like, okay, I'm just going to work even harder. Now, he didn't know that he was doing that. I was kind of like, like puppet strings behind the scene, like making him do it. But it worked out just the same. Like if he didn't put the work in, like he wouldn't be where he is right now. So Naren, I support you, bro. Keep doing your thing, man. I know it gets tough out there, but you next thing you know, you look up and you're in a better position.
Yeah, I mean, that's something else you can focus on too, because a lot of times if you're in the union, you can go to the school after work and practice. Like the shop floor is open, so if you're like just worrying about the fact that you're not learning the carpenter skills, this comes back to the sacrificing and what do you want to give up to get those skills. You might have to go to the school and have a teacher have some one-on-one time with you, and they're gonna do it. They're gonna want to be there to help you. There's constantly gonna be carpenters there that are gonna want to mentor somebody who wants to put an extra effort. Like, are you doing the other things outside of just the normal 7 to 30 to get, selected? Because a lot of times, what I'm saying, people want to just become a journeyman. And like, you think that, once you're done with your apprenticeship, that you're just going to be like, boom, I know everything. And you realize, like, I'm going through this right now. I'm going through the Dunning-Kruger effect right now. When I was a third term apprentice and I was working with a journeyman, I thought, you know what? I'm doing this siding. I'm so much better than him. I should be getting paid more than him. He should be fired. I'm way better at this little task right here. But then once I started learning more and more, I realized I don't know anything. Like, I don't know anything when it comes to carpentry outside of this little small square that I've kind of like perfected. So then you realize the more and more you do this, the more you get opened up to different experiences, to different equipment. Things are constantly changing. People are constantly trying to become more effective, more faster. There's definitely different new tools coming out constantly. So you have to be adaptable, but also realize that all these tough times are what makes you a better carpenter. There is no like a switch happens, a switch just flips and now you're a master. All these things come. And the more you learn, the more you realize you have so much more to learn. And like Billy was saying, once you finally know everything for the most part, now it's time to retire.